Hi, it's me again, Israel, and I'm glad I have some time to create this new video. Besides doing tutorials, I also want to do breakdowns of the projects I work on. So I want to start with this one. In case you didn't see it, here it is. Okay, so this breakdown is divided in 4 parts. First, pre-production, then the scripts that I used, you can see a few here in my layout, then the analysis of the animation itself, and finally a little fast tutorial. So you can skip to the part you want. I'm going to make the links for the exact times below, and let's start. So why did I start with this project? Because I saw a course of J.R. Canest or Jorge Canedo, who I met in person. This is Creana, a platform for Latin America for creative careers. They have a lot of courses, and Jorge has his course here. You can check it out. I'm going to drop the link below. And his example is more abstract, this project. I wanted to do something with a quote from a book I was reading. So this is where I started. I created this because, well, I really love this quote. In order to be effective with motion, one must first be effective with composition. A motion designer must learn how to change composition with intention. It's from the book Design for Motion by Austin Shaw. I had this and I had no idea how to animate it. So I saw Jorge course, and I didn't use the exact phrase. I had to change it, but this is my style frames. Of course, first I started with some sketches. I'm going to put a picture. Here you can see I started with a concept as Jorge advised, and connect some ideas that belong with each concept. In case of composition, there was grid, lines, alignments, and from composition it was movement, dynamics, and up and down, etc. So after that brainstorming, I made some sketches. I dropped a lot of ideas, and I at the end made some changes that were not planned before. Well, that usually happens to me, but this is the layout, the style frames overall. They were really simple shapes. I was able to use Overlord, so I didn't have to create a single file for each scene. And to finish with the pre-production part, let's talk about the music. In this case, music and animation are really bonded together. They depend of each other. So if you can create your own music, that's great. If you can send the animation to someone else and they can add music, awesome. But if you're limited in that area, you can always look for music on internet. I used Audio Jungle, and in this case I searched for hip-hop music, and I want you to pay attention to this, beats per minute. This can help you a lot because this creates the speeds. It indicates the speed of the rhythm. So 120 is normal speed. It's a little bit fast, but if you go beyond that, it's going to be much faster, and if you go to 60, it's really slow. So in this case 90 sounds like this.
jungle.
Okay, so maybe you know beforehand what song you should use, but if you don't, you can use these kind of sites. For example, this one lets you create a click track. You can choose the beats per minute you want. You can choose the how many like beats per compass here. It can be 4 or 3. If you know some music theory, you are familiar with this. And then just generate the file, and it will download and sound like this. Okay, if you have no idea what beats per minute or time or beats mean, you can think of it like this. You hear that bell, that ring bell? That's the first beat of the compass. Yeah, that usually that's the stronger beat that indicates the start of a new compass. And you can count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That helps you a lot to sync the music. Okay, so with all that, let's start the animation analysis. Here is the click track in my case. You can see that every time this one hits, indicates the change of a scene. Okay, so that's one thing that drove the animation, the beats. Here's the song. Oh no, we have to do first the script. I'm going to tell you what scripts I recommend you to use, because well, I use it a lot for this project. And here are them. First, Universal Audio is this one. In this kind of projects where you have the music to start with, this helps a lot, because you just have to click here, and the music files that are in your main composition are going to be synced on each composition. This pre-comp has the audio and it's sync. Every time it's sync. If you go to any of the comps, it has been synced with just one click. And if you have to change something here, you just refresh and it's all sync. Then is copy, you probably know it. It's this one. And in case you don't know, for example, I have these keyframes, this and this velocity, and you just copy it, and let's say this has not been edited yet. It's like that. You select the same amount of keyframes, and you can choose if you want to copy the value or the ease. You copy the ease and it's done. It has the same velocity changes. Okay, the next one is super select. This is really useful when you work with shape layers like this. If you go here, you see shape layers have a lot of groups and a lot of properties per group. So you just, let's say you want to change the color. You want to create keyframes on all the color properties. You choose one. Oh, I'm sorry, you just choose it. Click here, super select, and it selects the same property all over the groups. So you can create one keyframe. Where am I? here. And they are here. I'm gonna press U, and here they are. It's on the fill property, so it appeared, this black line appeared. Well, never mind that black line, it's just because it's the color thing. And that's it. That's going to be super helpful. Elastic comp changer, it's like you can pay what you want also. And I use it a lot because it lets me change like the timing of my animation. For example, let's find this here. Let's say I want to make this shorter, the distance between these two keyframes, but I have a lot of layers. If I've moved this and I want everything to sync, I have to move everything. Elastic comp changer does it for me. Let's say I want to offset 10 frames. I can hit plus or minus. I have to have this checked. And let's see what it does. It can even work on pre-comps. So that saves a lot of time. And that's it. It moves all the layers, all the keyframes with just one click. Then Ray Dynamic for the texture here. Well, this one has its own tutorial, so if you want to add texture to your graphics, go check this. This one is not free. Not free. Overlord, I already mentioned it, I think. You just have to select one object here on Illustrator, one click, and it sends it directly to After Effects as a shape layer. You just have to have it activated here, and it's an extension. And to finish this, I use this one. I think there are more scripts that can do this, but basically I use it here, and you can copy keyframes. For example, I select this, I just hit clone, and all keyframes will be cloned starting here where my time indicator is. I can clone and reverse. I use that a lot too. And I can reverse only. My file is quite heavy, that's why it takes some time. It's faster usually. And that's it. Almost all of the scripts I mentioned are free. The links are going to be below. And that's it. Now, well, let's make this animation analysis. Okay, the most important thing here is manage the velocity changes. For example, I'm going to go, let's say here. I'm gonna hit play, and this is the part you should pay attention to from here. What's going on? See, this is the change word, and it starts going spreading. It starts to spread, but check the velocity. It's an ease out that lasts a lot, and it here, when it gets to its like most extended position, you can see that this is not at 0. What does that mean? It means it doesn't stop. It's always moving, and that creates tension. And that tension then it's released in a fast movement where it collapses, it shrinks. And that's what I have used on basically all the animations. Create tension and then a fast movement. And that fast movement connects to the next fast movement. In this case, it's, let's say, here. And what happens here? The next word composition extends, and check this. Oh, this is a 3D. Okay, let's go to active camera. Okay, the important thing here is this. The next animation starts with a high velocity and have an ease in, and then slowly gets to its final position. And you can see everything together here. So what you should do is create tension using the graph editor. Create tension, never go to 0, never make it stop, like use the tension to build the energy to the next fast movement, and then you can make the change, in this case the scene change, and you have to keep that velocity. If the velocity was high, you continue with that velocity with your next object and then get it to rest, and you can start all over again. You can make it never gets really to rest. It creates tension and then another fast movement, like in this example. Check this one. This is the yellow shape behind. Just gonna show you this. Here it has an ease out, and then here is the maximum speed. Check, it's here. And the next object starts same with high velocity and gets to a tension point. See, it's not 0 velocity, it's 0.20, and the same process repeats. You know, that's like keep the viewers on tension and like waiting for the next thing to happen. And the last example of that, it's pretty easy, is here. You can see the circle. Check, the circle is expanding but never getting to rest. Like when it gets to its maximum size, it shrinks like really quick, and in the next frame this circle appears, and it appears again with high velocity. Here's the speed graph. Here it never gets to rest, it's -90 the speed, and ends with a high speed movement. When you have a property that only has one value, like here that I separated the dimensions, you can also use value. This one is like easier to understand, but you can use both as long as you like understand how they work. This one uses the value of the property, so it starts here and moves quickly here at the beginning, gets to the maximum point, and here quickly drops. Now check the direction of the handles. They are not like this, they are like this. This is what creates the tension. If you move it like this, it's going to feel like they stop. Okay, use it like this, like a little bit of an angle, and that's it. That's the most important thing. Create tension and release it, and continue the velocity, the speed, for the next scene or the next object. If you see this, if you understand this, you can like change an object to another at any moment. Like you don't need a plugin that can transform like a car into a plane or a shape into another. You just use these velocity tricks, and you can get anything done. And that's it. Now a little tutorial on how I created like this typographic animation. That part. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to go here. If you have Overlord, you just select the text, click here, and it's going to appear at After Effects. I'm just going to copy this, create a new composition, Control N. It's here. Control T, one click, Control UV, and if you press Control Alt and Home, you put the anchor point at the center of the layer, and Control Home centers the text on the composition. Now I'm going to create, here, right click, create shapes from text. I can remove this. I want to create keyframes on every path, so I'm going to write here path, select the first one, go here, one click, press U, and let's move 20 frames, create keyframes, and here I'm going to edit this word. If I click any of these keyframes, I can access the vertex points with my selection tool. You can change it like this, just play around. Let's say you want to have this. If you hold Shift, you can go straight. Alt and your mouse wheel, you can zoom. And well, some tips while you are working here. If by accident you click outside, you have to click here again to be able to edit each vertex. If you click on one object twice, you get this box, and if you move it anywhere, it affects all the layer. It's not a keyframe. So I go here and the letter A has moved, so you don't want that. What you can do is select all the vertex here. You can hold Shift. You can even click on the fields. It doesn't matter because it only recognizes vertex. Now with all your letter selected, you can press Ctrl T and you can move it, and that only affects that keyframe. You can also shift click or shift drag to deselect what you have selected, and that's it. Let's say you want this. You have this animation. Actually, I'm going to select everything, Ctrl T, I'm going to Ctrl Shift and drag, and I have this. Okay, that works fine for, so far. I'm going to go like to the middle of this while they are still changing, and I'm going to create new keyframes. And this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to move like 6 frames, let's say 5. I'm going to move this, I'm going to move forward 1 frame, and I'm going to copy this. I can just select them, copy paste, or clone keyframes, and that's it. You have the change. They have changed from here to here, and here you can like make another change, but so you feel like they bounce, you can make them smaller. I'm going to select everything, Ctrl T. I'm going to make them small. And I'm going to move like 6 frame or 5, and I'm going to drag this. I'm going to move like 4, create keyframes again, and here I'm going to make them a little bigger so you can feel that last bounce. I'm going to select everything, F9, and it looks like this. Okay, now I'm going to work on the graph editor. I'm in the speed graph. Go to the speed graph, select all the keyframes here, and drag this to the left, drag this to the left too, and this is going to make that they start really fast and change. Start fast and change. From here to here there's only 1 frame, so there's no animation. I'm going to hold Control Alt and click to make them a whole keyframe, and you have this. Now here you can make this like this, and the next one you can have an ease in like more pronounced, and maybe move them to the right. And that's it. I'm going to move this to the left, and that's it. That's what what I did for all the like snappy animation you see here. Like in this case I only had to move like my keyframes a little bit. Let's say for example I'm going to move this, so some start before. And what do you do if like you don't want this to be static on these keyframes, like you don't want them to be visible? You can do this. Just move like 1 frame before, create keyframes. You can click 1 and it creates keyframes on all the properties selected, and Control Alt and click, and press Ctrl T and just move everything outside. So they just appear here, and like they appear and they are already moving. And you can make something interesting like this. And that's it. Hope you like this tip, and I really hope I keep doing this more often. I really want to do it. I'm gonna try hard to do it. And well, if you like this kind of videos, go check Creana and Jorge's course. It's in Spanish, and well, good luck. Almost forget, please follow me on Instagram. Like, you can comment on my projects, give me some feedback. If you like to see some tutorials of my projects, like leave a comment. And that's it. See you next time.